Alright folks, welcome to the TheIntelFrog Report for Monday, December 19th, 2022. Let's start off over here in ADSB Exchange. We've got 195 military aircraft up right now. Let's take a look at the tankers that are up. This is KC-10 Extenders, KC-46 Pegasus, and KC-135 Strato tankers. We've got 12 that are showing across the United States currently. That's a little bit lower than normal. Normally there's around 20 to 25. Let's take a look at heavy lift transport aircraft. This is C5, C-17s, and C-130s. We've got 24 up across the United States currently. Let's take a look over at Europe and see how things are over there. Looks like we got a P-8 returning to Keflavik, Iceland from a Baltic Sea mission. Looks like anyway. A689A, that's a P-8 Hex. Alright, for our interesting stories for this week, or for Monday, we have the... Oh. Bear with me while this loads again. On Friday, we had a medevac aircraft go down just off of Maui. This is the search activity plot showing Coast Guard C-130s, MH-65s, a couple of CAP Cessna 182s. There was a private helicopter, and then another Coast Guard auxiliary Cessna 182 that performed the search. You can see they covered the area extensively. The dark black line is the flight path of the aircraft that crashed. You can see it made a little loop around Maui, started to, looks like, return towards the airport, and that's where the signal was lost. We've got some imagery from Earth Cache and Planet. I'll let this load again. This is of Whiteman Air Force Base. This is the runway of Whiteman. You can see right here there's a black smudge on the runway. Black smudge. That's the B-2 that's still partially on the runway and partially off the runway just past taxiway Alpha. So the runway for Whiteman Air Force Base is still shut down. The entire B-2 Spirit fleet has been grounded for a safety stand down as well. There is only one runway here at Whiteman, so it doesn't look like anybody's going to be taking off anytime soon anyway. Here's a better comparison from Amelia Earhart. You can see, oh, I don't know why it's doing this. Let's let it load back. You can see a full-size B-2 here from October the 6th. It does look like from this image on December the 18th that some of the left wing is possibly either missing or buried into the dirt. We can see that it looks like it's sitting left wing down from the photos that have been released on Facebook. Let's take a look at the special use airspace that's active right now. Not a whole lot going on across the country. These are warning areas, danger areas. These are active most of the time. Here's a TFR for POTUS in Wilmington. And then the Nevada Test and Training Range out here is active. Let's take a look and see what we'll skip that. Let's take a look at the news. So last week, a KC-135 Stratotanker got caught using the call sign Titties. The appropriate call sign was Inmate 72. Apparently somebody in the flight crew got bored. The Air Force is investigating it, and you can probably bet that somebody will lose some pay and maybe even rank over this one. Army soldier charged with murdering Sergeant Nathan Hillman of Plum at Fort Stewart in Georgia. If you remember, last week we talked about the soldier that was killed at Fort Stewart at the 2nd Brigade, Armored Brigade Combat Teams Complex of the 3rd Infantry Division. The motive for the shooting is unclear at this time, but they do have the suspect in custody. Coast Guard news, they rescued 34 Haitians dumped by smugglers off Puerto Rico cliff. The U.S. Coast Guard cutter Heriberto Hernandez, a 154-foot vessel homeported in San Juan, responded to reports of a group of people stranded on the uninhabited nature preserve in Monito Cay, which is just off Mota Island, Puerto Rico. Coast Guard Ocean Sentry aircraft flew over the area and confirmed seeing multiple campfires, prompting the vessel's response. So it appears the coyotes just dumped these people and just let them go to the wild. So they got their money, they don't care. Marine Corps drill instructor arraigned in recruit's heat death. The Parris Island, South Carolina drill instructor was arraigned Wednesday on charges connected to the death of Marine recruit in the summer of 2021. Staff Sergeant Stephen Smiley was charged in November with the death of Marine recruit PFC Dalton Beals, who died in June 2021 as a result of extreme body temperature while completing the culminating training event, the Crucible, 90+ degree temperatures. Apparently this staff sergeant also incentive trained these individuals when the flag conditions were such that no intensive incentive training was allowed. So that's why he's being brought up on charges. 1 count of negligent homicide, 1 count of obstruction of justice, 1 count of cruelty, oppression, or maltreatment of subordinates, and another count with 4 specifications of failure to obey orders is what he's been charged with. Some more Marine Corps news. They're instituting heart monitor testing for the Marines as they go through the Crucible. So what's going to happen is they're going to wear a little device that measures their heart rate and compares it to an algorithm that will determine an individual's risk level for heat casualty. This is something that every Marine will wear while they're going through the Crucible, and allows the drill instructor to see which recruits are a higher risk of suffering a heat injury and possibly stop it before it starts. That's some neat technology. Senior Space Force official to keep job after investigation finds he kept sex toys at work. Interesting. High-level Space Force official was allowed to keep his job after an IG investigation found he fostered an inappropriate workplace environment with crude behavior such as keeping sex toys at work. Mr. Cox remains the director of the Space Warfighting Analysis Center. The matter was addressed through established civilian personnel processes. Let's take a look at the ports, shall we? Savannah, we've still got a backlog here. It's getting smaller by the day. There's less than a dozen vessels now. They're eating through these vessels fairly quickly. Let's take a look at Houston. Houston still has quite the backlog. Several tankers, several cargo ships, all just waiting out here to get into the Port of Galveston and Port of Houston. Let's take a look over at LA and Long Beach. All right, we got a few vessels that are out here waiting, several tankers and a few cargo ships. Looks like the majority of the port is full. Got quite a few vessels in port. Here's one that's coming to port. Let's see where it came from China. So some people are saying that there's nothing coming to Long Beach or LA from China, and that's just incorrect. Here's one example of it right there. Alright folks, that's going to do it for this episode. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe so you're notified of new videos as they come out. And as always, thanks for watching. Bye for now.